The Escort coming off the back of the truck. Needs a lot of work to the front. Right, so it's Sunday morning. Got the Escort back Saturday yesterday. I'll show you around it. Basically, I'm going to be stripping this to a bare shell, but I need it rolling for a little bit of time, obviously, because we've got the Mazda and I need to swap them over. So once this is stripped and braced, I can then get it on the lift, put the Mazda behind it, or maybe on the drive at the front, and jiggle it about a bit. The bonnet's knackered, as you saw. I'll show you anyway. So bonnet needs to come off. I sold the vents years ago. Regret it now. I mean, I'm not keeping the Punto headlights. It's going back to Escort. I've got a Cosworth Illusion bumper getting delivered today, which I'm made up about because I wanted to go back to the Cosworth front. I've got some Panique wheel arches to go on it, front and back, but I've placed them over and they don't come out any further than the Series 1 arches that I've already got blended in. So I think I'm going to keep it with its existing look. So the picture that I've shared of it hasn't got these arches on. This was a later edition when I did the lights. So what I'm probably just going to do is chop the front off the wings and put the Mark IV Escort front section back on, because I've pulled it forward a little bit. I'm going to ditch the bumper. It's a modified 90 spec bumper as well. I suppose I could chop the top off and get it back to standard, but I don't think I'm going to. Now in here, all that's going to be coming out, bulkhead, fans, absolutely everything. I'm going to see what I can keep of the inner wings, but I may just make my own inner wings on the Mazda to suit. I need to get it into the back and take some measurements. Slam panel is a smooth panel. Did that when I did the work last time. I'm hoping I can keep I can keep the front end. It's just whether I can make it fit onto the Mazda. So that's a job to look at. Single wiper conversion, but I may go back to 2 wipers because I'm probably going to have to put a scuttle on it, but obviously that can wait. I'm going to leave the screen in just so it keeps everything square. I was going to take it out, but even if it gets broken, I'll just buy a new one. They seem to be plentiful for the Mark IV Escort, so I'm going to keep the screen in to keep it square. I am going to have to remove the roof, although I was going to keep that to keep it squared up again, but I don't know how hard the work will be to do. I need to decide on that. So what I could potentially do is take the doors off, weld braces across the doors, cross brace it inside, and leave the roof on so that it's got a connection front to back. On the back you can see again the flared arches. There's a little bit of a gap to the wheel arch though. It's been welded, but we'll see what happens inside. Now there's an old boot building here which I started to rip out when I got it back yesterday, so I'm gonna have to pull all that out today, and then you can see all the bracing the cabriolet's got on the inside. So obviously the floor's going to be coming out. What I'll probably be doing is unpicking to there, and then I can make my own wheel arches. So if I leave all this structure in, sit the body over and remake the arches to suit onto the Mazda floor that I put in, that should be okay there. It's got like a big cross brace there as well that goes between the struts, so I can drop that down. Inside, steering wheel went ages ago. I thought the XR2 steering wheel that I had would go on there, but gets in the way. I've got, which I'm probably not going to use, a Series 2 dash which is near mint, I think, from what I can remember. But I think I'm gonna be sticking with, well, I'm gonna be sticking with the Mazda dash. I just prefer it. So what I'll do, I'll roll it back, get the roof down so I can clear out everything. In fact, no, let's clear the boot first. So I'll get the boot cleared. I didn't want to torture everyone with the strip down, but this is where I've got to so far. So I've got pretty much the whole dash out, the heater matrix, the old, well, white stroke yellow dials. Pedal boxes out, just got to get the accelerator out. Started cutting out all the wiring. I've got a couple of back plates for the RS Turbo ECU, and I've still got the black, I think it's the fuel computer for the RS Turbo. I've rescued that wiring loom there, that's for the power hood, and luckily it's a separate loom so that can go back in. And also this one here, which is for the heated screen. Now I've not got a heated screen in there, but the reason why I'm not too bothered about damaging this is my intention is to put a heated screen in, so hopefully that'll be alright. And I've also rescued the fuel computer with its full wiring loom, so I'll probably put that on eBay. Right, I've had a good few hours on it now. As you can see, gearbox is out. That's the pile that's come out of the car so far. I've had my Illusion Cosworth front bumper dropped off as well today, so I can get rid of that. I might cut the 90 spec bottom bit out of that though, just in case for the future. Took the wings off. I need to still weld some normal Mark IV fronts on the wings. Battery tray in this car's absolutely mint, which I knew it was. Fuse box area is. I changed the inner wing tops a few years ago, but I wasn't that great at welding then, so they're not the best, and all the slam panels do, but don't know what I'm keeping of that yet. Inside, completely clear, absolutely everything's out. The only thing I've left is the back end of that wiring loom there, which is for the backlights. I think I've chopped off the heated rear window, but I'll use the one off the MX-5. Boot builds out. Again, spare wheel well. I smashed a big dint in that bit there for the twin rear exhaust. And to get my boom box in, I hammered the inner arch. So I'll have to knock that back out. I'm wondering if I can keep the inner arches and just cut the boot floor out and make a new boot floor, and the same all the way through. The cabriolet, if I show you, has got a different designed floor, so this side's probably going to be easiest. We've got this sill here, and then this is like an additional support that runs through there as well. So what I'll do is I'll unpick the floor to this section here, and I'll make a brand new floor from the MX-5's chassis rail I've put in up to here, so I'll have two main chassis rails. So that should be really strong. Inside, in the back, I need to try and keep these areas, so whatever I do I'm gonna have to work around them, because I need the seatbelt anchorage to be in the right position, the rear window winders, not bothered about the seat mounting points, but I need these. These are for the hydraulics for the power roof. So there's one there and then there's one there, same on the other side, so they're ready to accept them. This can come out. Basically everything below that line I can lose. I just need to see how it meets up in the MX-5. A little bit of surface rust running around there, but it is just surface rust. The only repair this floor's ever had, I did, and it's that little tiny patch there, and I did that about 12 years ago. I'm leaving the roof on because I'm gonna refit that and square it up in a minute. Rear windows can stay in because they're not going to cause me any problems. So basically now, while that's up there, out the way, I just need to start welding some bracing in this, and then I can swap them over so I can get this in the air and the MX-5 on the deck. Windscreen staying in, as I mentioned, because obviously it's keeping the frame square. If it gets broken, not the end of the world, I'll get a new one. But it's coming on. Right, as you can see, I've just been to the tip. Still need to strip them wheels and decide what I'm going to do with like this Metro wing and that, but can't do everything at once. I've got a guy that'll come and collect the scrap metal once I've taken the floor out. I'm in a well-deserved beer. So I'm going to start bracing it up. So definitely going to get something near the bottom, something round here, and then I think maybe across the screen there, and then I'm not too sure at the back because I've got a big brace there, so that should be okay. That one will be fine. The roof structure, Alexa, volume 1, and then maybe something between here. So, and then obviously I'll have to do a cross brace, but I don't want to do too much because I've got to cut the floor out. I'd rather cut it from the top. I've made a start on bracing it up. Show you what I've got to. So I've got a cross brace. In fact, it'll be easy to show you the other side. So it runs right the way across, past the strengthening of the seatbelt post, up to the front of the dash there. I've then got a brace coming across, and then on this side I've put an additional brace down the outside, and I'll be doing the same on that side, so it'll go from there down to there, and then obviously we're crossed here, so that section now will stay square. I'm deliberating over what to do on this front section. Just 1 second. So on this front section, I'm not too sure what to do. I think I'm going to put an upright somewhere here and then take one across, but I'll probably have to cut that out once I get it in, because the center console and the dashboard's all in the way, and I do want to try and keep the dash in place so I know what I've got to deal with. I'd rather just trim the dash while it's in the car. I've got a little rust hole on the scuttle. I'll do that once I take the screen out. The screen surround has got a little bit of a wobble to it, but that's a cabriolet for you. I was going to brace it, but there's really not any point because I've got it braced here and here, and that structure's staying, so there's going to be no advantage. I'm going to have to unpick the speaker surrounds and get rid of them because they're definitely going to be in the way. This here, it's going to have to come back to about there, so the door's going to start sort of under the dash, so I'm going to have to put a piece from the dash forward, and the sill is definitely going. That's 100% certain now. Alright, so I'm going to call it for the day. Absolutely ruined, but we're up on the lift, as you can see. Got a completely clear engine bay now, other than the horn, but that's going to be getting cut out anyway. I chopped out that section of chassis leg because it was easier, so I couldn't undo that bolt. We've got the suspension there. I need to strip off the hubs and the brakes because they're RS Turbo ones, but I might just dump them, to be honest with you. I can't be bothered. And the rear arms, RS Turbo again. I just chopped everything. I've got it strapped to the ramp on the bars. Nothing's moved, everything's solid. But at the minute it's sat on wheels at the front anyway, and a platform on the spare wheel well, so there's no weight actually on it. What I think I'm going to do, having a look now, I'm going to chop it there. So we've got a nice chassis leg which can run right the way to the front, and I'll tie that in with the front of the Mazda, and then we'll lose obviously everything. So I'm literally just going to chop all out there, take all of it out. I'll just leave a little skeleton just to try and hold this in place. I think we're going to lose the cross member because there's no point in having that much weight at the front, so I'll probably cut that off and I'll refabricate something, maybe something removable. I just don't see the point in having that much weight when I can chop it there. I only need the bumper mountings. So I'll make something out of probably some box section. So we're getting there. I do need to click the roof into position just to make sure we've got no movement, but everything's seems solid. Fuel tank's out. Had a massive hole in the top of the tank. I always knew it leaked fuel, and I did get a new tank, and there's about 10 litres of fuel in it as well. You can see the inner sill over there. I did a repair on that years ago. I'm probably going to have to redo that because I imagine it's pretty rough. I need to get all this out. Don't know what's happening with that yet. It'll probably get relocated, but I'll take it out for now. Framework's holding nice. So there's not really anywhere it can go now. It's proper solid. In the back, just going to cut out the full floor. Right the way. I don't want a spare wheel well anyway. And then we'll, as I say, I'll dolly that back out. It might even end up being up here anyway, where it mounts onto the car, so that might not be necessary anyway. But I'd like to keep all that, if I can, where it's all welded, because it does seem nice and strong. There's a lot of structure in the back of the cabriolet. That reinforcing plate's obviously going to have to go. That's only for, I think it's the bottom arms or the wishbones, whatever they're called. I think the back will hold itself together because I've left everything there, and obviously we've got all this metal here, so I've not bothered bracing that. And when I cut the boot, it's just going to be cut as the minimum I can for now. Probably only need to go to about here. Alright, so I'm going to call it a day at that. Tomorrow I'm going to cut out all the floors. It's 9:15 now, my lad wants some tea. I've neglected him today, so I'll go and sort that. I'll see you on the next one.